Hello to anyone who is looking at this video, and please let us explain today about our great Startup Elevate 2025. I would like to pass mic to Koshu Kuni-san, who is general partner of Lifetime Ventures and very in the center of this great event. So, Kuni-san, could you please explain about the event and our expectations, especially towards the startups that are thinking whether to apply to this event?
Great. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Startup Elevate. I'm Koshi from Lifetime Ventures, and today I'm so excited to host this webinar event with you today. Whether you're a researcher looking into potentially starting a startup, or you've just raised your seed round, we are looking for anyone who is operating within health or sustainability to be invited for our annual Deep Tech Startup Conference, Startup Elevate. Just a quick intro on who we are. Lifetime Ventures, we are based out of Yokohama and Okinawa in Japan. Pre-seed and seed investor focused on health and sustainability, or what we call planetary health startups. We partner with a research institute in Okinawa called Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology. And this event, Startup Elevate, is an invite-only deep tech focused startup conference that we co-host between OIST Innovation. So this is the TLO arm plus innovation of the Research Institute OIST, as well as ourselves, Lifetime Ventures. And today on the conference, we'd love to explain what it is about, how it's structured, and why you should apply for this very interesting and exciting conference. So Startup Elevate is a conference that we will be hosting on this beautiful campus of OIST in Okinawa, end of September, 29th and 30th of September. So this is Monday and Tuesday of the last week of September. First day, September 29th, as healthcare focused. And this will focus from the preventive or preemptive healthcare solutions all the way down to intervention. Meaning to say, we are open to the digital, ideally with neuroscience or behavioral psychology-backed solutions, all the way down to medical device, therapeutics, and other forms of intervention. Second day, day two, sustainability of the ecological and the planetary system. So this can and may have a stronger focus around climate mitigation. So how can we physically reduce the cumulative greenhouse gas emissions in the atmosphere to the adaptation, meaning how can we, given the climate change, how can we then adapt to the new environment as societies? And for these two, we will be looking into, we will be hosting within the Startup Elevate conference, pitch event that we call Pitch Elevate. So this will be a selected group of 7 startups or 7 founders who will be pitching alongside their mentor VCs. So unlike other startup pitches or startup events, Startup Elevate is going to be different or unique in a way where the selected group of 7 startups or founders will receive one-on-one mentoring from some of the top venture capitalists in Japan focused on healthcare or sustainability over the course of the 3 weeks following up to the Startup Elevate event itself. This, we do believe, is a very, very strong value proposition for anyone operating within health or sustainability in startups that is either present in the Japanese market or is looking into potentially entering the Japanese market from either partnering on the research and development side to double down on the product development and or to enter the Japanese market commercially. So how can they sell the product within Japan? These mostly principal, if not partner level venture capitalists of some of the top funds in Japan, they will be providing one-on-one feedback 3 weeks to 4 weeks prior to the conference, as well as during the course of 3 to 4 weeks, helping you to polish the pitch deck as well as a pitch delivery to then ideally win the first prize at the Pitch Elevate within Startup Elevate. With an investor hat on, whenever we receive pitches, we tend to have this defense mechanism up where, very unfortunately, given the very high volume of the pitches that we receive, the default answer is, again, unfortunately, no. Whereas in this process of partnering a mentor VC with yourselves, this is going to allow the mentor VCs or venture capitalists to remove that defense mechanism and to work together towards the same direction, towards the same goal, which is how can we improve our pitch over the next 3 weeks to then win that prize at the Startup Elevate. This process, we believe, is going to strengthen the relationship between the VC and the founder, and will allow you as a founder to be able to receive feedback, especially on the delivery and the content of a pitch, in a way that you usually won't be able to with such a defense mechanism up. So the depth as well as the type of interaction from the between the mentor VC and founders is something that we are very happy and proud to implement within this Startup Elevate. In order to qualify to be one of the 7 startups, we currently have the startup application open, and we will have the filtering process. So post application, we'll review the startups. We'll then interview to see who may be more fit to work with the VCs, and therefore for the who may be fit to work with the VCs to then provide that pitch during the Startup Elevate. And in the interview screening process, we'll also share, obviously, the content of the Startup Elevate. But there should you be accepted to join the Startup Elevate, there'll be 2 paths. So one is obviously the golden and, in our view, the highest value participation route, which is the pitch competition. The second route, which is open for a little bit more than 7 startups, is going to be through Poster. So again, post the acceptance after the interview screening, there will be a possibility, if not through the pitch, to then join the conference where you could provide the poster to then present or to then be exhibited to the participants. Now, currently we're looking at between 150 and 200 participants. We'll most likely have more, if not far more, number of VCs than startup founders. So in terms of ratio, this may be one of the few events where there's a higher number of investors than investees, and the ability, or at least the opportunity, for you to present and share about your startup using the poster to these participants. Now, just to clarify, these two are separate routes, meaning to say the pitch participants, so the 7 startups, will receive one-on-one mentoring from top VCs. The poster participation is going to be a separate one, where this will be participation on the day. And unfortunately, we do not have a structured mentoring process. Now, on the poster participants, there may be, obviously, during the conversations and discussion that you may have with at the conference with the investors, may be able to receive feedback or other conversations or other advice, but this is not a structured process. Now, in either rounds at the conference, up to 200 people, most of whom will be investors, we do believe that the fundamental value is going to be the opportunity to, one, meet higher number of VCs, and then startups, which is rather rare in our view. Two, obviously very high quality or top VCs, if not usually decision makers and above. So we do invite and also strongly encourage some of the investor participants to be at least those who are able to drive the investment deals within their firms, as opposed to those who will be recommending, who will be asking internally for someone else to then lead the deals. So this will be more direct exposure, as opposed to perhaps more indirect in other events. And three, this is going to be up to 200, but given the breakup sessions, given the poster and pitch interactions that are going to be much more close and smaller, we do believe this is going to be a little bit more intimate than other, perhaps larger events that may claim thousands of participants, but may be a little bit difficult to have that one-on-one or close conversations. And perhaps not as importantly, this is going to be thematic focused, meaning say those that are operating especially in deep tech space, and including especially in healthcare that has life science components, or sustainability and climate that has quite a lot of hardware components. It is often the case that some of the investors you may be speaking with cannot, by fund policy, invest in hardware life science. Whereas in this event, we primarily look for those investors and invite those investors who look into rather harder solutions. So this may be physical component as well as the bio or the therapeutic component. So for these 4 reasons, we do believe that even compared to some of the other prominent events, this is an equally great event to attend and obviously apply to, if not one of the conferences that you should perhaps prioritize over other conferences. Now, so the process, again, the application is currently open until the end of July. We are actively reviewing and already selecting some of the startups. So the earlier that you applied, the better and most likely higher chance of getting selected for poster or the pitch route. And post the selection, we'll have the interview process. This is going to be usually a 50-minute quick interview to have that full alignment of your incentives and interests, as well as timeline to the Startup Elevate, what Startup Elevate can offer. And then not for the posters, but for the pitch route, those who have one of the 7 startups will have this matching process a few weeks before the event to then together work on polishing the content and delivery of the pitch to be then presented again on September 29th for healthcare and 30th for sustainability. Besides the poster and pitch session, there will also be a series of panels, roundtables, etc., by some of the leading experts within the field. Now, we have not confirmed some of the profiles yet, but we are looking to have obviously some of the prominent investors, but also some of the corporates or leading experts who are able to provide you with some of the practical advice around how to work with corporates, if not how to get that first customer, or one of the first customers, as well as to how to hire or how to have that best co-founder matching process. So there'll be a series of practical guidance in addition to obviously the opportunity to meet with the investors. We will be announcing some of the details as we finalize the agenda of Startup Elevate. We hope to do so before the end of July, so that you could take a final look at the content of the sessions to then determine whether you apply or not. But again, given the higher probability, if I were you, I would probably apply first and then make that final decision by looking at this final agenda or final sessions. Lastly, and most importantly, would like to go introduce again the perks, or in our view, the ultimate perks of joining, applying, and potentially joining for the pitch. So from healthcare, first day, September 29th. Currently, we're expecting to have some of the leading investors, starting from in alphabetical order, by the way, in not specific, not in an order of importance. Kobayashi-san, partner at UTech, Kimura-san, principal at FTI or Fast Track Initiative, Misawa-san from Miyoku Capital, Hashizume-san, partner at Beyond Next Ventures, Yokota-san, partner at One Capital, and Kasai-san, general partner at Angel Bridge. These are some of the leading individuals whom have direct experience working in large pharma's hospitals, healthcare providers, and who have backed some of the leading health tech startups in Japan as well as abroad. We have focused on some of the leading investors in Japan to have also the Japanese perspective on what kind of solutions, what kind of business practices, as well as what kind of customers may be most appropriate for your company. So again, those startups who already operate or are looking to operate in Japan would likely derive the highest value from these mentors. For day 2, sustainability, we also have another group of leading investors within this field. Again, in an order of alphabetical order, we have Ota-san from Design for Ventures as partner, Sameshima-san, general partner at Anri, Matsumura-san, partner at Scrum Ventures, Itaru-san, venture partner at EEI or Energy and Environmental Investment, Nakamura-san, principal at Globus Capital Partners, Iwata-san, chief venture capitalist at JAFCO, and Kobara-san, principal at JSE Venture Growth Investment. Again, these are some of the leading investors in sustainability, including especially on climate in Japan. and as well as who have exposure to some of the investments abroad, including especially the US market. Again, these are this group was selected for that Japanese market or solution angle. So I do believe that these really great and successful investors, as well as on this beautiful location, as well as the quality, the size, and the thematic focus of Startup Elevate would make it an ideal, if not the ideal, startup conference for you to apply and join. If there is any doubt, comment, feedback, question that you may have, you're more than welcomed to contact us directly at info@lifetime-ventures.com, or if you have any specific questions directly to us, more than happy to take those inquiries myself, or just Koshu at lifetime-ventures.com. Thank you very much for joining us today. And is there any question?
Maybe I will ask you a few questions on behalf of startups that they might potentially have the questions. So first of all, thank you so much for introducing in English. And just to clarify, this event, which will be held in Okinawa, and many investors are from Japan, what will be the language of this event? Maybe some of our participants who are especially from abroad, or maybe non-Japanese people in Japan, might be interested in that point. Koshu-san, could you please answer that question?
Great. The official languages will be both Japanese and English. The panels, pitch, mentoring, posters, they will all be in English. So de facto, the official working language will be in English. One caveat is that since many of the participants are going to be from Japan, between the Japanese participants, there may be Japanese conversations as well. So if you know a few words in Japanese, that will always be a plus, but not understanding Japanese should not be a reason not to join. If anything, this will be one of the very few opportunities for deep tech thematic startups to be able to present and interact and network in English.
Great, thank you so much. And in that terms, for application, are there any limits in terms of where the startup is situated? So basically, probably many startups would be from Japan, but is it fine if the startup that is going to apply is from outside of Japan? And is it fine if is there any opportunity to join online, or only offline is permitted?
Great question. Short answer is that your company does not have to be based in Japan. The company can be incorporated or based or operational out of anywhere in the world, perhaps except the sanctioned countries. Now, the only thing, and to give you an example, the startup that won the first prize in healthcare last year, as a company, is incorporated in the US. So just to give you an idea of that, it does not have to be based or headquartered in Japan. Having said that, again, these are going to be leading investors, corporates, experts that are either based in Japan or have some ties to Japan. So for that reason, it'll be ideal to have some form of Japanese angle, either wanting to or currently serving a Japanese customer on the customer side, or on the product side, having R&D base currently, or wanting to have an R&D base in Japan. Bonus point if it was OIST or Okinawa. because we do believe in the power as well as the beauty of in-person interactions, as well as the embodied experience that one can have or we can have together collectively at the startup conference. We only restrict startup founder participation to be in person and not of online. There may be some live streaming, some post-event recording and distribution on online platforms, television, etc. So those who are only interested in having the information, receiving the information, those participants could also have access to it post-event. Having said that, we do believe that the fundamental value of this conference is really lies in the people. So the great people, intimate and connected, close together. So for that reason, we only have in-person participation for startups as well as other participants.
Great. Thank you so much, Koshu-san. And last question that might come up from the startups is actually do they have to be already in like established company, or pre-company stage is okay? And question B is could you please give again some idea, what kind of points would be looked at? So if to be selected for pitch stage, what is required from applying startups, or if okay, pre-company stage, like founder? Yeah. Could you please give a few ideas of what kind of things need to be established or like clarified at founder side, at startup side, in order to be able to participate in this pitch or poster side of the event?
I'm sorry, what was the first question again?
Does it have to be already company established, or pre-company stage is fine?
Yes. Great. So yeah, this is also a great USP, perhaps. We do not only restrict to already established companies. If anything, we predominantly look for companies that are right before, not potentially thinking in 10 years' time, but right before starting a company, all the way down to Series A. So this is going to be rather early stage startup focused. For those that have not incorporated a company or have not started a company, we do look for those that are about to start in the incorporate companies, as well as those that are seeking funding and or partnership in terms of a POC of their product or solution. And therefore, and taking a step back, ultimately, we are doing this at least the bucket that we put in for this activity, which is a rather quite a bit of investment of our time and energy, and also the financial as well, which is into this is of the ecosystem. And this comes from our understanding, if not our shared of what we feel is rather problematic in the Japanese startup ecosystem, which is that the deep tech solutions or deep tech startups in Japan or that are coming to Japan, including especially around the healthcare, especially the harder or more closer to the intervention, so medical device or therapeutics, as well as sustainability that has the hardware component. We do believe that given that the ecosystem is not yet as mature as, say, Silicon Valley, New York, Boston, etc., there still lacks the opportunities as well as the real volume of investments, so funding, financial side, talent, so humans who are starting or joining the startups, and 3, the actual transactions. So those startups who are actually selling their products and solutions to customers. And these 3 combined as an ecosystem, our ultimate aim through Startup Elevate is to, as the name suggests, elevate the startup ecosystem in Japan, or of deep tech startups in Japan. And in order to do this, one of the main KPIs that we have for this event is the volume of funds raised by startups through participating in Startup Elevate. Now, this is not only restricted to Lifetime Portfolio, Lifetime Ventures investees, but also for all the participants of the Startup Elevate. So again, our ultimate aim is to elevate the Japanese deep tech startup ecosystem by making sure that these important yet often overlooked startups do raise funds or do close business deals thanks to opportunities, thanks to touchpoint networking that was done at the event. So from this perspective, we do prioritize those startups or founders to be that are looking to close fundraising within a year or over the next 12 months or over the next 12 months following the Startup Elevate. This is to ensure that the timeline matches, and therefore we are actually moving the ecosystem forward with concrete outcome, as opposed to the perhaps a fluffy just doing the event for the sake of doing. So the timeline of the startup, as well as the stage, early stage, and the focus on healthcare or sustainability. Beyond these metrics, or beyond these conference specific, we do look for the quality. So in order to optimize the probability of closing fundraising as well as partnerships, we do look to optimize the quality of participants to join the Startup Elevate. Meaning to say, this is going to be the classic measurement of how strong is your team. Is including especially co-founders. So can you do you have the technical abilities to build the product, and do you have the commercial capabilities to sell the product? And 2, the product and the business model. So is this a great product that is scalable, that you can actually sell, that actually solves a real pain point in the market, and that could actually generate financial outcome? So is the financial value also tied to the scalability of the product? And 3, market. So is this a market that is growing, or that will be growing? Is this a market that is actually important and big enough to look into, not perhaps the dying smaller market segment? So these three are quite standard, I would say, in what VCs look for in startups. So again, what we in extra to these, or in addition to these, what we specifically look for Startup Elevate is a timeline and that they look for fundraising over the next year, early stage, so before Series A, but right before incorporation is also okay. And also the thematic, so actually solving health or planetary health problems, as opposed to perhaps other problems that are also important, but perhaps fall outside of the scope of this conference.
Great. Thank you so much for answering in detailed manner to all the questions. So as mentioned by Koshu-san, if you have extra questions, please feel free to contact us over email. It is mentioned here in the website of this Startup Elevate 2025 in the contacts. And yeah, we are looking forward to your submission and looking forward to talk with you about your business and about your plans. Please join us. Yes, yes, yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I'm finishing the recording. Thank you.
Thank you.